This episode is brought to you by Dad. We miss you, Chief. Amped Podcast. We're all gonna die someday. Podcast.
That was good. I liked that.
That was way safe.
I liked that.
I think I get better every time, you know?
Yeah, so welcome to the third episode of the Amped Podcast. I was going to say more. Again, I kind of just say these things.
Well,
Yeah, I
We'll get
feel
in
like
a
that's
rhythm
how we
someday.
started every single
Yeah.
one. Welcome.
I feel like
That-
I
don't know what
need
to say.
a...
That is his dead dog.
That's
Yeah.
Chief.
My recently
Yeah, not the
passed
scissors.
dog.
Not the scissors.
Not these. He's the guest star.
Yeah. And boy, was he a star.
All right.
I know we had talked about stuff to talk about, but can I just go on a little America's Got Talent tangent for 2
Yeah.
seconds?
Yeah, sure.
How's it a tangent if we haven't even begun?
It's a tangent
one.
because we definitely had things to talk about, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. But dogs and America's Got Talent, it's the worst thing ever. They always try and push dogs on America's Got Talent, and I don't get it because they're never that
They're
good.
never talented.
Yeah.
It's a dog.
My fiance,
He or she.
he or she, always has the argument of, what if the dog dies?
I wanted to ask a question if I can bring it up.
She's like, or he is like, if they win this act that they get in Vegas, what if the dog dies?
Well, what if the person...
That's what I always say to him or her.
Yeah.
I'm always like, what if they die? What if anyone dies?
Yeah, exactly. Simon Cowell could just...
Yeah, Simon Cowell could just fall over
Yeah,
in the middle of a
exactly.
performance.
Yeah.
That's all. I thought I would have more to say about it, but it was
You know-
really just dogs and America's Got Talent don't
Okay.
mix. If you want an example, look up Sarah and Hero. They're trash, but they're probably nice
Hey.
people. She's probably a nice person, and it's a cute dog, but they're trash.
I think if we're talking about dogs in America's Got Talent, I think a kind of natural tangent to that is dogs in America's Funniest Home Videos. Now, I feel like there's been it's pretty safe to say that this is a general rule at this point. If you have a kid or a dog, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
A dog doing something stupid or smart. I mean, anything really off of the average.
Yeah.
A kid doing something stupid or smart, or just getting hit. I mean, I feel like those three things: getting hit, dogs, and kids. I mean, if you hit a dog with a kid,
yes.
that right there, that's a winning
What if
formula.
you hit a kid with a dog?
I don't know.
What if you
I
had a
don't
kid with another kid?
What if you hit a
Yeah,
dog?
there's not enough dogs.
What if you connect two kids and swing them around, and it hits two dogs that are connected?
I don't know. I feel like that might just
With what are they
overload
connected?
Tom
Human
Bergeron.
centipede.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they're gonna play.
Dog centipede.
Tom Bergeron.
Dog
funeral.
centipede.
Dog centipede.
That's a
Dog
that's a better.
A natural tangent from America's Got Talent dogs to American. What was I? What did you
Funniest
say?
Home Video.
America's Funniest Home Video dogs is American Ninja Warrior dogs.
Are there ducks? I haven't seen enough of dogs.
I was just really proud of that joke.
Yeah, that was good. That high five. Right.
End to this dog. We miss you.
I mean,
Chief.
now that I think about it, do they have in America? A lot of our shows have America in it, American Ninja, America's Funniest. But I mean, I know you have the Great British Baking Show, but do you really have
Well,
Britain or
Britain's Got Talent,
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
but
But American Idol, America's Got Talent.
yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't really see Somalia's Got Talent or something. What if every country had their own Got Talent?
I have a story about the Great British Baking Show.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that this existed until 2 months ago, and so I was on the train home, right? It's a 3-hour train ride from Seattle, and I got sat next to this person. We were in the four-person spot, and she brought out this tablet, and she was watching this live stream of a guy. I don't even know what he was doing. He looked like a cowboy, and he was just like walking around and talking at the camera. I don't know why. It was on Twitch, and I was like, how is this person like doing this? But like she watched that, and she kept switching in between that and the Great British Baking Show, and she had like every episode of it, not on like Netflix, saved on this tablet. And she would get really, really into it. Like you could see like on her face. It's just so funny when something, I mean, I couldn't hear the audio, but I'd assume something bad happened, right? Like, so, I don't know. Her face would like scowl. And it was very funny. Just watching this person next to me. I don't know anything about her. She's just switching between the Great British Baking Show and this guy doing a live stream in a cowboy outfit, and I'm just like, what has brought this person to this point in their lives where they're watching all of this on a train? Like, I want to know who this person is and why they're here.
I want to believe they weren't even going anywhere. They just
They're just off the train.
Yeah, they're just riding
a place
around
to watch
doing
it.
a cycle. Yeah, I mean, what
That
better
would
way
be
to spend your time?
Train has comfortable seats, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I was very confused by that.
Yeah.
New table.
We got a new table.
Yeah, we
yeah.
do have a new table.
Yeah.
It's like
It's got this glossy.
semicircular.
Yes.
Circular.
I thought when I got it, it showed pictures, but it didn't show that it'd be super glossy, which I really like. It just said a plywood table, and I was like, "Ooh, it's gonna have like
Yeah.
splinters and
Oh, what? Did you see this on like Craigslist?
Amazon."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to sand it," but
Craigslist.
Yeah. No.
it's like it's got a nice finish on it.
Yeah,
I
it's a
love
nice
it.
table.
I saw it, then I bought it, and then I thought about returning it,
But you didn't even have it yet, so.
but I know, yeah, there was a little bit of a weird willy woo with my parents there.
Okay, let's spend a second. Let's talk about your usage of the words "willy" and "woo." I feel like that should be our next topic.
That happened.
Interesting.
Okay,
I've never
that
heard
was
that
just
before.
like a random, combination of two words that I could possibly think of. You ever do that? Like, you ever see some?
What's that?
That was my speaker turning off.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
ever
the word
see
willy
like
woo.
something on the road and you're like, look at that schmuck, or
Well, yeah,
Okay.
but that's a
look at
common...
that slop,
No.
or schmog.
No.
Schmog.
Sometimes I'll start a
No.
sentence.
No.
Sometimes I'll say like random stuff, but like lots of like curse words.
Oh,
You know,
Like-
can we
like
go
a-
rated R for a second?
yeah, I'll bleep it out.
Okay. So like I'll be like I'll look at my fiance, and I'll be like, you. What the are you?
Okay, well, we're letting you know. We're letting you know that those words, even though they're bleeped out, they are gender neutral terms.
And I'll just say stuff like that, or like, oh, I'll just scream like, oh my.
Are you gonna bleep out?
Stop.
Are you
Yes,
gonna,
yes.
Are
I
you gonna
need to-
bleep
bleep out
out?
that whole
I'll be-
sentence.
Are you
I'll be
just
right
gonna,
back.
Are you just gonna bleep
Don't
out
give them
cock?
context
Or
either.
are you also? Are you gonna say my bleep is? Or are you
No,
gonna say?
Okay.
no,
10
just cut.
Minute 10.
Okay.
We're at minute 10.
You know, sometimes I'll be like,
that is the.
oh my,
Okay.
because I like that one because I don't have a.
I feel like you're providing too much context at this point, to where it defeats the purpose of the censoring.
Yeah.
That's
Even if he
interesting.
says it's just the bad words, it's still gonna be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to censor more.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
cut out this entire time block.
Yeah.
Oh, don't I like?
The first part was okay.
I'll just bleep it out. Okay, what was the next thing? Oh yeah. I just make up words.
Yeah.
Willy woo.
Willy Woo.
That just came to mind. A willy woo with my parents.
Do
Hillbillies.
you willy woo with your parents often,
Mustard
Parker?
World.
Where did they willy woo you? I'm
That's
just saying.
that's
I'm just saying.
inappropriate.
I'm just saying. I feel like a word or a sentence like that without enough context.
I say wonky a lot.
Okay,
I
that's
say
fair.
wonky too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Or the same.
Yeah,
person,
but Willy
you know?
Woo's not a
Wonky.
thing. Wonky's a thing.
I say wonky when it's like something's off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
it's a little wonky. Like
Yeah.
if a table isn't set up correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little wonky.
Yeah.
For sure, but what does Willy Woo mean?
Willy woo. It was like
Famous karate man from the 1930s.
I feel,
Alright.
I feel like that's a little racist. Is it because it has woo in there?
Well, no, I mean,
It's Wendy Woo's brother.
W-I-L.
Oh no. You've reminded me of Wendy Woo.
W-I-L-L-Y-W-O-O.
Yeah.
Willy Woo. It was like, a little conflict. Not necessarily a conflict, but it was like, I had that table in here that I didn't like very much, the old table from the past two. And I was thinking, I'll keep this in here.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, it technically belonged out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And my dad was like, we need to keep it out there. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I guess we can't keep this table. So I bought this. And then I mentioned it to my mom. I'm like, oh, I bought a table, by the way. She's like, why? I'm like, Dad said I had to move the table back out to the living area. And she was like, no, you can keep it.
Well,
So then I was like, oh, so I don't need this table.
oh, so that's why you're gonna return, and that's the cause of the Willy Woo.
Yeah, so I actually got it, and then I was like, okay, time to return it. But then I opened it, and I looked at it, and it was actually really nice, so I wanted to keep it.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
So this is an idea. You can completely cut it out. Cut this part out. I feel like, especially because it's an idea for a little bit. But what if at the beginning of this episode you put you always see those things in memoriam of the old table, and it's just a completely black screen with that little image of just the table.
Yeah, that's good. I'll get a picture of it.
Yeah.
One thing.
I'll get a
Not
picture
cheap.
of it super lopsided because
Weird.
it's only got
Not
3
cheap.
legs.
This episode is about
It
the
would be
death of
too
a dog.
obvious if we put Chief in
Yeah.
the memoriam, so
Yeah.
we can't.
Yeah, that's.
It's all about the old table.
Yeah. Okay.
Chief is
That
being
feels like a bad
overshadowed
joke. I
again.
feel
One-
bad.
one
In
thing I feel
memoriam of Chief and old table.
One thing I feel like we need to talk about. I don't know why this just came to my mind, but Vsauce. What's happening?
I don't watch his stuff.
Is he
You
just
don't-
not?
you
don't
Is
watch
he, is he
Vsauce?
not uploading anymore?
No, from what I've heard, I don't know if it's correct or not, but you know how he has his Minefield or whatever YouTube. Red?
Minefield. I watched that.
Yeah, I've heard that he's not uploading on the main Vsauce channel anymore because he's signed a contract or whatever that he can't use the main Vsauce channel for anything other than Minefield. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just speculation.
It's weird because they give him money.
Well, yeah.
Like most people, he likes money.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. I'm just saying
That's a good way to look at it.
I
That
don't
is a
know. I
weird
feel like
concept.
his transition to the. You guys have seen the Dong channel stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've heard.
Have you
I
guys
think I've
What?
seen maybe one
The
episode.
Dong channel? It stands for Do Online Now Guys, and
Oh, yeah.
none of the context, none of the content is related to that anymore. But it's basically just Vsauce stuff. But also, I don't know. I feel like it's a step in the right direction.
I don't keep up with that much anymore, but I do know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I haven't watched YouTube in a long time.
Yeah. I feel like
I've been
YouTube
busy.
has
Speaking
become my primary form of general media. I
That's
guess.
interesting to think
Yeah.
about.
Speaking of YouTube, has the event happened?
No, it hasn't. I actually checked a few
Oh.
times today.
I checked this morning, but I didn't check.
PewDiePie versus T Series.
He's actually still
You know what that is?
I have
Okay.
no idea.
he recently
You don't
he
know?
recently
Okay. It's a pretty
Jeez, that's the
So-
one thing I do know about, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of proud.
PewDiePie,
Okay, keep going.
the most subscribed YouTuber,
Okay.
he's had this position of most subscribed YouTuber creator
Okay.
for years and years. I don't know how long.
I know
Probably
that. I know
Before,
that.
before that, it was
like
Nigga
oh.
Geek, right?
yeah,
Was
it was,
that
it was Smosh.
Nigga.
Smosh passed him.
Nigga?
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
oh, that one, that guy. He was most subscribed for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's right. For a
Yeah, he
long
was-
time, yeah.
Oh, I did not.
By a decent margin.
PewDiePie is he's all number one. Nobody was ever even close to surpassing him. The next up was
20 million.
20 million,
30
though
million.
he was running up at around 62
Yeah.
million.
Yeah, it was insane.
He was ahead by so far.
Okay.
Ever since that started, ever since just recently, a few months ago, this one around 62 million, this one YouTube account called T Series showed up, and people realized it was gaining subscribers by the millions very, very quickly.
Yeah, and it was insane because it was actually it was kind of a network of accounts. It wasn't just one account. It was actually several that YouTube then combined into one account and all of their subscribers into one. So because of that, I feel like it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
But
It was a little bit of cheating.
Keep going.
It's like
Well, they've done it
T-Series is an enormous company, industry in India that
Okay.
makes Bollywood films.
Yeah. Seriously. No joke.
Okay.
And you check their videos. I checked today. There was one that was up for like 10 hours, and it already had like 8 million views.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was insane.
PewDiePie's up against India, basically.
PewDiePie is up right now at about 82 million subscribers. Since this whole T-Series PewDiePie war, people have been advertising like crazy. Subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah,
beat T-Series.
earlier today I actually saw that. I don't remember what site I was on. I think I was looking up. I can't remember. It was something for like English. Yeah, it was. I was looking up like literary devices or something like that. And at the bottom, it had a link and said subscribe to PewDiePie.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
across
because
the
people are trying to support him because he's
Yeah.
like an individual content creator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to this like massive media conglomerate.
Yeah,
And it's-
people are going as far as putting up like personal ads in newspapers,
Yeah.
stuff like that. There was somebody who they went by the name of Giraffe. They hacked
Yeah.
over I think 20,000 printers across the U.S.
Yeah.
and
Oh.
printed like this fax kind of
20,000?
thing saying subscribe to PewDiePie. The thing is, they could have hacked like maybe 500,000. I think it was. It was a high number, way above 20,000, but they wanted to do 20,000 just to test it out and see if it worked, and it did. But I don't know why they
That's a
didn't
lot.
end up doing the full amount. But there's this other YouTuber named Mr. Beast who went as far as putting up like billboards,
Oh, wow.
subscribe to PewDiePie,
Yeah.
and he's even flirted with the idea of putting a $1 million ad in the Super Bowl
That'd be
to
pretty
subscribe
cool.
to PewDiePie. And the thing is,
He has a lot of money.
That
to
would be
just
so
spend
funny.
on nothing.
yeah, that would be really funny.
Oh
But here's the thing: is that today, these days, people are really worried. Like people are worried because
It's gonna be real.
just yesterday it was at 123,000 subscribers between them.
Yeah.
Like a
Okay.
difference of that much.
That's not a lot.
I checked today; it's more towards 300,000 now.
Yeah.
It's in the
The problem is that we're running out of people to subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
Logan
seriously.
Paul promoted him.
Yeah.
They're like in a way.
I feel like
Yeah.
if Logan Paul promoted it, I would unsubscribe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
but-
that's why he's starting to lose. Maybe
but
it
the
was
entire
Logan Paul.
the entire thing about like people in India being automatically subscribed to PewDiePie. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who ordered it?
Yeah.
Gavin. Yeah, you go.
I'll.
Thank you.
Another
Thank
one of
you.
these, our classic.
We
got the pizza.
That's
segment.
funny. That's funny how we order the pizza, but we don't
Forget.
set up any way to find out how it gets here
Yeah.
I
Or-
thought about that and then I forgot.
when it gets here. Anyways,
Just string
Let's
like
talk
a,
about Garfield now.
a
Yeah.
string in a tight can, like down here. And then you
Oh,
pull
yeah.
the string
Put it
and
out.
Can.
that's really smart. Because there's like it's like a direct pathway to my front door right there. I could
Yeah.
just have a string under the door. When the pizza's here, pull this, and we could have some sort of thing hanging up above my door.
Yeah.
Like wind chimes.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we'd be like, pizza's here. That's cool. Anyways,
That's like something out of a 1980s movie.
Yeah.
if it works,
Yeah.
then
Think
it
about it.
works.
Back to the Future, Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
What?
Home Alone.
At what point in Back to the Future did they have strings?
I was just thinking about the scene where he had all the amps set up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, that's.
I don't know why that but I was just thinking about that. Like all these kids just knew how to make everything, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the whole subscriber
sorry.
thing.
Yeah, I
No
know.
worries. I was
pizza
just gonna
threw me
say it's coming close. It's coming to the point where like maybe in a week or two it could happen. That's what people thought until PewDiePie released this one video called "Bitch Lasagna," and it's like a diss track,
Mhm.
but against T-Series.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that video has, I checked today, 108 million views.
Really.
And he posted this, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. And based on the whole thing, you know, you get 1,000 views, you get 1 million views, you get $1,000.
Okay.
He got 108
And
million views.
and that's not. I mean, that's a rough estimate, but that's also not considering things like.
From what I've heard, that's how much
Yeah.
you get from it.
Just
It's
based
not
off
like,
of ad revenue, and also
yeah,
I.
but he
feel
also
like-
sponsored like. No, he didn't sponsor anybody in that video. I was thinking of the last video he posted.
But yeah,
you guys
just-
should dig in. Just watch
I don't
out for
know,
that.
just
be mindful of the mic.
to me, people are making a big deal out of it, and it's
Yeah.
like, I'm even subscribed to him just for the fun of it, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, good.
And I'll check it out every once in a while.
Amped. I made Amped is subscribed. He's their
Yeah.
only subscriber as of right now.
But it's like, to me,
I'll get.
it doesn't seem like that big of a deal
Yeah.
Get some.
when our whole lives are already ruled by corporations.
Mhm.
So what does it matter if some corporation that really doesn't even affect us is the most subscribed?
I
When
think
it's like, who, like, I hadn't heard about PewDiePie for years before this.
Yeah.
Years, like literal year. Like the last time I can think about actually sitting down and watching a PewDiePie video before all this happened was like sophomore year.
Oh,
I have been.
it's been like 7 years. I think the last time that I had watched a PewDiePie video was like 6th grade. Seriously.
I don't know if
That
I've
was
ever
like
watched
once.
one all the way
I'm
through.
like, I don't
Yeah.
like
But
that.
I think it more or less just symbolizes like the platform.
Yeah,
And where
yeah.
it's going.
It seems like it's just like a lot more out in the open.
Mhm. Yeah. Also, looking at the trending page, like you can see videos that have risen faster and are gaining more traction, but like corporate trailers and stuff like that
Yeah.
are like more. Trendy.
Well, that's what I watch too. I'll watch any trailer. I check
Yeah.
that trending page all the time, and I'll watch a lot of the videos. Because
It's, sorry. It's not just trailers though. It's also like Nike ads and stuff like that. It's just stuff that's so obviously like YouTube used to be like this place for
Creators
yeah.
to actually have their things be seen.
Mhm.
And that part of YouTube is still there, though.
I feel like I know
It
it is, but it's YouTube itself has gotten really trashy.
It's like YouTube is against
The creators are still there.
It's still there.
It's just YouTube is making it way more difficult for them to do what they want to do
that. And be seen.
and be seen.
Well, that's because they don't make as much money. It's all about money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fair. It's just like I don't know. I remember when what was it? They said that YouTube didn't turn like they were operating at a loss or something like that, and that makes sense.
What needs to happen with YouTube is they need to have like the Tumblr equivalent happen to YouTube. You remember what happened to Tumblr, right?
Oh yeah, are you
I
talking
want to
about?
explain it. I want to
That's
explain it.
that's very funny to me.
Yeah.
It's
We're talking about the porn, right?
yes.
Okay. You don't need to bleep this part out.
I'm not gonna bleep this out.
No. So Tumblr came out that this was for, I think it was on December 18th that it went
was
into effect,
sometime
I
in
think.
December.
I don't know. This was the most interesting thing in the world to me.
This is very funny.
And so they like before December 18th, they came out with a thing at like the beginning of December. They were like, we are getting rid of all porn across Tumblr. Well, wait. Before that even happened, it went off the Apple Store.
Yeah.
iTunes. It was gone, and then like, and even like you couldn't search like anything up or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was completely gone from the Apple Store. You couldn't buy it at all.
To be
We're
fair,
not buying
what
it.
started this was one, Apple realized there's a lot of like child pornography.
Yeah,
on the site,
exactly. That's where
and,
it all came from.
And two, Verizon had bought it. I think
Really?
Verizon bought Yahoo, and I think Yahoo owned Tumblr, so Tumblr was transferred to Verizon, and Verizon wanted to go in a new direction.
So yeah, they were like, no more porn at all. Like all accounts, all posts, everything is shut down on December 18th.
And they're like the daily users for it has gone
Can-
down.
yeah,
I think it's been 30 or 40% now, like less than they were at their peak.
Yeah, but do you want to explain the interesting part?
you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
explain
yeah.
it. I just like to explain
you
the
know what,
porn
I'm gonna-
part of it.
Can I use
The
this?
interesting, yeah, sure, go for it. The interesting part is the fact that what they did was they didn't like increase the. They didn't increase like the report features or anything like that. They just looked for skin tones and banned it.
Yeah.
Like that's just that. Like that's about it. Even stuff like it would be something just completely innocent, like a picture of some like just a normal photo with somebody's knee in it, and they'd be like, "That's pornography. It's banned." And I'm pretty sure the thing is, I feel like Verizon knew what they were doing, and they just wanted to kill Tumblr at some point. I mean, it wasn't profitable for them, so they.
That's understandable, but
I just think it's so interesting.
they make it seem so obvious.
There's a. What is it? The quote from Scrubs or something that's like, if you were to remove all the porn from the internet, there would be one site left, and it would be called "Bring Back the Porn."
Yeah, it's really interesting, that whole thing. I mean, it really sucks. Like, we're going to talk about creators or whatever. Sure, it's a different kind of creator, 100%.
Yeah.
But there were still people making money off of that.
Yeah.
You can sell your nudes. You can make all this money from all these different things.
Do you want a Diet Coke?
Yes.
Matthew, do you want a Diet Coke?
You don't have to whisper.
You good? Do you want a Diet Coke?
I don't like Diet Coke.
Okay.
I'm against leaving.
Right. Okay. I'll be back.
Really? I was like, that would be really funny.
Thank you for going into the incognito mode. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Trust me. You know the key's on.
But yeah, it's just really like, it sucks for all those people who had to find new platforms or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Because
like,
there's nothing really like Tumblr that's really a good alternative where everyone can turn to.
yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like one of the best things about Tumblr was the porn.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely,
honestly,
100%.
it's
I had
like-
a Tumblr account. It wasn't to look at like art or whatever.
I never had a Tumblr account. I've never gone on there. All I know is that people that I've talked to have been like, yeah, Tumblr. Well, actually, no. I know one person. This is a story. I sat next to them in one of my classes, and he would like show me images on his phone, and then he would go to the next image, and he had to like really quickly take it back because he would accidentally show some things in the middle of in the middle of class.
I think the thing that's appealing about that is the fact that, yes, I feel like everybody kind of knew that it was porn. But the thing is that it was a place for people to create like communities for like certain fetishes and all. And also, I feel like it's also important because
That one's Gatfield's.
yeah.
All right.
I feel like it's also important because it created communities for certain fetishes, but it also because it operated mainly as like an actual like
That's the drop.
it pretended to
DJ has spoken. This is my...
Really?
because it pretended to be like a social media site because that people like could be on Tumblr and people wouldn't automatically assume you're looking at a bunch of porn, right?
Yeah.
And because that it attracted more people, which then made
yeah.
it more of a thriving environment for porn, right? So there's more people.
I was deluded by that. I thought it was a social media site for people in
Exactly. The people who aren't on it, I feel like that's what they think.
Weird.
But you go on there and you're like, there's porn everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
like niche fan bases. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, and to be fair, most of what I'd seen on Tumblr was that.
Oh,
But then again, you have to kind of break that surface layer and get into the porn under.
And I feel like I never saw anything that was wholly bad on there. Like that was like, oh my gosh, I need to delete this app. My eyes are ruined forever. You find some weird stuff every once in a while, just through like happens of being like, I wonder if this exists.
Yeah,
and then you find it, and you're like, I'm so glad that I don't have to do that.
What?
People
Please,
like to cut their
don't
penises
elaborate.
off.
Hey,
Oh.
DJ, this is going on the internet.
This is
it's
going
gonna
on the
stay
internet.
here.
This is going on
30
the
years from now,
internet.
your children will look at this and they're gonna be like, "My dad said
I
that."
think it's an interesting conversation, though.
My dad used to curse randomly at his fiance.
But yeah,
no
I
reason?
think it was.
For what?
Sorry,
What did you say, Gabriel?
for no reason. Yeah. Sorry, that's
But
right.
I think it's an interesting,
very-
like, I forgot what I was gonna say completely, but it was really interesting.
I'll take you at your word.
It probably wasn't. But yeah, like, how I was saying, like, I feel like their system worked pretty well. Like, it wasn't like it was super easy to find it. They had like the whole like lock thing or whatever, and I don't know. Yeah, like. Maybe I'm just exposing how much I used Tumblr for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But for
That's
me,
what it sounds like.
it wasn't like a bad. Like it was always a good experience, and I'm sad it's different now.
Gee whiz. Have we gotten here?
I think I discovered my body using Tumblr for the first time. So for the first few times. Continuing on, I'm rambling now. We can cut this whole part
My
out.
point.
No,
my
I'm
point
not cutting anything. We're just gonna. This is raw footage. That's what podcasts are all
You know,
about.
like Tumblr really
just like
helped
the
me.
stuff you saw on Tumblr.
Whoa.
Yeah.
My point in bringing that up, though, pulling
I'm
it
very
back,
embarrassed now.
pulling it back, DJ.
I like this smiley face.
You like
This is cute spider.
I thought of that.
Would
and I did
YouTube
it.
what would
probably can't
you
see
need
it.
to do to YouTube to have a similar effect, where people would have to start going to like a bunch of different sites,
What are you talking about? I'm lost.
where a bunch of the user base of Tumblr kind of just went away? Where did they go to? Like what equivalent of
YouTube
that
doesn't
would you
have
have to do to
porn.
YouTube?
Okay, so
Yeah.
I've
yeah,
exposed
what's the
myself.
porn equivalent? Is that what you're asking?
What is YouTube's porn equivalent?
Yeah.
Like, what if
That
we
might
got rid
just
of
be
it?
the question that I'm asking.
Vimeo?
No.
No, not where you live.
No. Like you remove porn from Tumblr. What do you remove from YouTube to have the same effect?
Oh.
That's a good question.
I don't know, because I can say like
so
the
many-
companies.
I mean, I think I know one. I just thought of one.
You could say the
ASMR.
companies, and that'd be half the people, and then you
No.
could say the creators,
I think
and I
there's
feel like
too
that'd
much.
be half.
I feel like YouTube is too big. It
Video
might.
games.
I was thinking that because
That's
that's what happened.
possible.
Remember, like a couple years ago when Nintendo started taking stuff down,
Oh, I remember that.
and people were like freaking out and starting to do what happened to Tumblr.
I feel like that would significantly dent like the user base, but I don't think it would destroy it.
How about
I think
how
it
about
would-
how about
I think it would
reacting
have-
videos?
That's what I was just gonna say. The whole Fine Bros thing that happened.
that was
Yeah.
crazy.
That was-
reacting.
That
yeah.
didn't happen to
That
all
was
of
gonna be a
YouTube, but that
tangent.
That's a
happened
really-
to one specific channel
Exactly.
where they messed up. They
But,
100% messed up.
Yeah.
It was an okay YouTube channel. They put their foot in their mouth, and it became a shitty YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I
Sorry
don't
for
watch.
cursing.
I don't watch any of their videos anymore.
That's a guilty pleasure. of mine.
I
I'll watch
used
them
to.
every
I
once in a while.
used to.
I'll-
I'd be
I'll
like,
watch the
"Ooh, I
older
want to
stuff
react to
sometimes."
things when I was like 14. But now I look at it, I'm like,
That's but I feel like the thing is that YouTube it attracts so many different kinds of people. Like Tumblr, like you have niche fan bases
Yeah.
and you have porn,
Yeah.
right? And if you take away niche fan bases, you lose a bunch of people, and if you take away the porn, you lose a lot of people.
I think
right?
that
But-
there's at least two different groups in YouTube though. Right? There's those who go to YouTube to watch videos and they upload videos, and then there's people who watch creators and go there for creators. You know
that's
what I mean?
fair, yeah.
Like,
So
uploading like your family trip to Disneyland, that's one thing. Watching somebody, some creator on YouTube, that's something completely different in my opinion.
I don't know if there's like one certain category you can take out.
Yeah. I don't think that they're necessarily split evenly or split clearly, but that's what I mean.
is there that for anything?
there's no.
Besides Tumblr, like I'm saying, like overall, what is that? Where it's like, what could they get rid of from like TV, or what could they get rid of from
That's
like Netflix? Like, what happens if
Anime.
The Office gets kicked off of Netflix?
That
Is a lot of people
that would
gonna
cause
unsubscribe?
serious outrage.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel, but it doesn't necessarily have to
But-
be like certain like categories of content. Like, what could they do? Right? I was reading an article earlier today that said like YouTube or Netflix would lose like I think it was like 47% if they added advertisements.
Uh-huh.
Like that's one thing they could do that would just destroy their user
That's
base.
true.
There's one thing that upsets me with certain streaming platforms. One is Hulu.
I
It's
love
the
Hulu.
fact that you have to pay to watch, and they also have ads.
Yeah, but
But
you
you
can't.
could
You
pay more.
can pay a
Yeah.
subscription to not have ads,
Anybody do
but you can still
If you
pay
want.
and still have ads, which I think is ridiculous.
I'll have one of them if you have one.
Do you want more?
No, you can go ahead.
You get
Do
one.
it.
I get one.
Yeah.
Let's wishbone it. 3,
It's ridiculous.
1. Okay. That
What
wasn't-
do you mean?
That
There's
wasn't
no
expected
uneven-
at all.
Wish-
Was it?
What
Okay.
were you saying?
I was saying, I think that's one thing about not specifically streaming in general, but Hulu by itself. I'm subscribed to a certain subscription that allows me to watch things, but it still has ads. And these ads are
Long.
tremendously long.
Yeah.
90 seconds
And
at
it's
a
the
time.
same one
Yes.
after every single
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The Equalizer 2, that movie, I memorized the words to each one of their trailers.
Yes. After binge watching Community, I
Ah.
actually started dreaming of the advertising.
I think
Like
I remember
that is
that.
effective advertising, I have to say, by just drilling it into your skull. Like, imagine if like normal
I
like
remember
TV
that.
commercials, like typically you have like a lot. Like you can see maybe like if you watch for like 6 hours, you'll see like 3 or 4 repeats, right? But with Hulu, every single episode. So
It would even be like, you're gonna get 2 commercials in this break.
Yeah.
Here's one commercial. Here's the exact same commercial.
Yeah,
you have to
exa-
watch it twice.
yeah, exactly. That
Yeah.
would happen.
The thing is, for me, I don't know how it is for you guys. I don't know how many different kind of subscriptions you can have to Hulu.
I have the one where I don't get any ads. I had to live with that when I was like
That sounds
younger,
so nice.
when I did binge watch Community in like 8th grade. But then like I started paying for my own, and I was like,
Screw this.
There's no
yeah,
way
I pay
can
for my
watch
own.
ads.
I can spend my money how I want. I don't want ads.
Yeah.
I know. Watching
the
ads.
average.
The only show I watch on Hulu was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I love that show. It's so funny to me. But the thing is, every single episode, right after they roll the intro or right before they roll the intro, it's like 90 seconds watching ads.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning.
And then, I don't know, 8 minutes later, it's like, hey, here's another 90 seconds of things you probably don't want to see.
It's like 10% of your time is spent watching ads.
Yeah, I feel like the whole advertising thing is doing the opposite of what they're trying to do when it comes to me, at least. It makes me not want to watch these shows. It makes me not want to buy these products.
I'm talking about it.
I see these.
That's fair.
I am talking about it, yes. But what are they getting out of me talking about it and thinking about it and dreaming about it? They're not getting any money. I'm not buying their product.
Well, I think it is subconscious in a sense, like brand awareness, getting that out. But one thing that I think is interesting
I'm never gonna buy a Hulu
is the
ad.
fact that I think that
Something shows up.
I definitely agree with their idea of having several subscription like models, right? Like you can pay, you can like I feel like if you have like a free one with a lot of ads, one where you can pay a little bit, get like half the ads cut, or pay a higher price and get no ads, right? I like that. I like the fact that you have options because there are a lot of things where it's like I don't want ads, but I'm forced to. Like they have to make money. I understand that they have to serve ads.
Yeah.
If I could just pay that directly, it's kind of like things like how people are concerned about like Google like tracking them, right, and serving so many ads to them that are like personalized to you, like they know what you're thinking about.
That happens on my YouTube homepage all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that like I know they have to make money and all, but if I could like pay like a subscription or whatever, I know it would probably be pretty expensive because of how much money they're probably making off of me. But I feel like if I could like pay to not have that, I feel like I should at least have that option. Right?
When it comes to YouTube specifically, or just streaming?
No, just advertisements. Like,
You guys, we were going to
like
talk about
streaming
something.
advertisements.
This is really interesting, but I thought of it like a spot-on segue into one of the things we thought about talking about. So I just want to get us into it because I need to use a segue.
I think I know.
Speaking of things on Hulu, Parks and Recreation is on Hulu.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah.
I was thinking about it.
So let's,
Go ahead.
and also on Hulu are mini TV shows. So let's all talk about the mini TV shows we enjoy, starting with Parks and Rec, because I want to talk to people about Parks and Rec because it's been a long time.
I only have one thing to say about Parks and Rec.
One good thing?
Yeah, I'd say it's an all right thing. It's just like what I liked and what I didn't like. What I liked was the first 6 seasons. What I didn't like was the 7th season.
You liked the first season?
I don't remember. Maybe I did. I just remember really not liking the 7th season
I feel
because
like-
they put it a year in the future and they had all these glass, see-through, transparent phones and stuff like that. And these
There
tablets
was a
really big.
lot of it.
It was
like-
I feel like it was a little forced.
It lost its
There's
touch
one really
of
good episode in that season.
reality.
Season 7, episode 4. It's called Ron and Leslie.
Yeah.
It is.
That one.
That is.
I cried.
I cried too.
I cry every time.
That is one of
time
the
I-
best episodes of Parks and Rec. It
What
might be a
happened?
bad season, and
What-
I'll agree with you.
What
but
happens? in
It's
Parks
when
and
they're
Rec?
stuck in the office together. Because, they hated each other in that.
Yeah, we don't want to
Oh.
spoil it too much.
I
That's
think.
But, like,
I
go and
remember.
watch that
And
episode if you haven't.
Honestly, I
remember
saved the
that.
song "Buddy" by Willie Nelson just because, and
It's-
every time I listen to that, I think about that.
It's giving me the chills even talking
Yeah.
about it right now. Like, that's literally, like, my favorite episode of Parks and Rec, but I
Yeah.
will agree that that is a bad season.
yeah, but that episode,
That episode is 100%.
it was like, it's because I don't know, just like the emotional connection you have
Yeah.
with Ron in that situation.
Exactly, yeah. It really hits home. Like, there's a big plot twist, kind of.
Yeah,
And then, like, but it makes sense. It's not one of those plot twists where it's like they're just throwing this in there to make
yeah.
us. No, like, it made sense.
Mhm.
And it was such a big moment in that show
Mhm.
that it really, like,
You know
it
what
hit
I'm talking
home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely you do.
But that show as a whole, it made me love Chris Pratt before Chris Pratt was Chris Pratt.
When he was Fat Pratt.
Yeah, exactly.
I only watched Parks and Rec after Chris Pratt was a thing.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool seeing him there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's cool to see, like, this big actor, like, in this small kind of TV role.
Yeah.
And he was always, like, the best part of that show for me.
Mhm.
Like, I loved every character, but I watched the show for Andy and April as well. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the reason that show was
really good.
amazing.
That was a really good like.
And it was good. It was like that part of the show was good because it wasn't something that the writers really made you want. It was something you kind of just wanted because there was that one episode in season 2. Sorry, I know so much about this. But there's like that one episode in season 2 where they decide to hang out, and like from then on, you're like, these are my 2 favorite. This is my favorite part of the show. These 2 together.
Yeah.
and like
I'd agree.
then I feel like then they realize like, oh, this is good.
I
This
like
is what people like.
Yeah,
yeah, I liked Ron and Leslie's relationship.
yeah,
That's
that's
kind of
cool
like
too.
a father-daughter type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Other TV shows. We can stop talking about that now.
There's one coming up. It's called Space Force.
Oh,
It's directed by Steve Carell and some other guy.
I cannot think of his name, but
I
he's
can't
the
think of his name.
creator of The Office, the American Office.
Steve Carell and the creator of The Office are making a comedy.
Craig Daniels, is that it? Greg Daniels?
They're
That sounds
making
right.
maybe they're making a workplace comedy that's set wherever, I don't know, somewhere. I don't think it's not set in space. It's more of a government kind of workspace comedy where they're trying to figure out
in space.
they're trying to figure out how to make this sixth branch of the government, the Space Force, that Trump announced that he was going to be creating. There are a few things I'm worried about. Like, I was super stoked at first, but then I was afraid, like, is there going to be any "that's what she said" jokes? Is it going to be like a documentary kind of stylish?
I don't know if I want it to be like.
Well, you know they're talking about that.
Is there
Office
going to be
reboot.
any moments where you look at the camera and they go?
I feel like that's good, but if they, that's something I
I
feel
don't
like.
want that.
You don't want that?
No.
I feel
The
like
good
it's
old
something.
gym look?
Okay, I feel like it's something
I don't
that
want any of that.
I feel like it's something that I want. Like, I want it, but if I get it, I won't be happy.
Yeah, it's like I can go back and I can watch all of those great moments from the show. But like with a new show, I feel like they could have new, better ideas.
I'm afraid it'll be like The Office after Michael left.
Yeah.
Because that's when The Office went bad.
Yeah, it didn't really.
Season 9 is underrated.
That's true.
Season 9 of The Office is very underrated.
There are
Season
parts
8
of it.
is
There are
trash.
there are parts of it.
That-
Season
yeah.
9, that one is somewhat like just unbearable for me.
Really?
It's too
Matthew hasn't seen The
eventful.
Office.
You haven't seen any of
he
them?
hasn't-
Oh no, I've seen a lot of The Office.
Not enough to.
It's just way too
Do
eventful.
not like
for
it
me.
as much as you guys.
Yeah, I will admit that like that was my favorite show for the longest time. I would wake up watching The Office. I would fall asleep watching The Office. I would watch The Office when I got home from school. I would watch it until I fell asleep. It was my life. I made my whole family watch the entire show. And
Really?
I just want to be a hipster for a second and say I did that like before it was cool, you know, like for real.
Wow.
Like honestly, I'm really proud of
I see
that.
how
I know we just said that, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like,
I would be proud.
I
of
feel
that too.
awful for saying that, but like at the same
Yeah.
time, I just need to say that like
Yeah.
this wasn't like a month ago. Like this was like when the show was still going.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's good.
before it was cool. When it was still going.
I started watching it right when the 8th season was put on Netflix.
Really?
Really?
And I watched it all the way through, and I got to the end of the 8th season, and I just waited for the 9th, and then the 9th came out, and that's basically, I don't know when that was, but that's when I started watching it. I remember though,
I'd
my
say
parents watched
That's
it
before it was cool.
when I was really young.
I started watching the show before I even understood the jokes.
Yeah, they'd be watching it on the computer.
I started watching it before I, even exited the womb. And,
But yeah, like
I'd see them watching it on their computer, and I'm like, that looks boring.
yeah.
They're just working. Like, how is that funny? I didn't get any jokes, of course.
Uh-huh.
I'd usually see it when my mom was like folding laundry in her room. This was in my old house. But I remember like specific clips when I was really young seeing that show. So I could say I watched it before it was really anything at all,
Uh-huh.
but no, I didn't.
But yeah, I didn't watch it like
8th season.
at the beginning, but like I feel like I watched it before. Like I feel like it recently had like a renaissance for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah,
and
definitely.
I'm just saying like I feel like we all started before then, you know?
Yeah.
I did.
I was-
Where like
know.
all these
I
like white
was-
bitches on Instagram are like, oh, I love The Office.
I was about to mention season 9. One thing I don't really like about it is that it's so eventful. Like before season 9, or should I say before Michael left, most of the issues and activities were happening in the workplace. They were happening at the building, or at the very least,
There's one really
In the
good
parking
episode
lot.
that doesn't take place in the building. It's in season 2. It's on the booze cruise.
The booze cruise.
That
was
episode,
good.
that is I hate using
See,
that
it's
word underrated
realistic.
again.
Yeah.
But it is such a like that whole season 2 is my favorite season of The Office
Really?
because it's so much darker than the other stuff. Like I feel like they kind of like commercialized it from then on and made it more of like a family show. But like in that second season, like you're depressed watching it most of the time. Because, like, Michael is someone that no one likes and no one ever liked. Jim is in this nothing spot where he's never going to get the girl that he wants. And he's going to try no matter what to get her, but he's never going to win. Which is ruined, obviously, because he gets her. But, like, in that season, you just have, like, this never-ending... I'm
But if
sorry,
you
I
haven't
just
seen-
spoiled the whole show.
If you haven't seen The Office by now, you'll never see it.
Yeah,
okay?
that's true.
If you haven't seen it by now, you're not allowed to like it. My rule.
We're now gatekeeping The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about The Office for too long.
You're right. You have some good points.
Yeah.
But like, then flash forward to Jim wearing an undersized white suit with mascara on, holding up a triangle tablet,
That's...
going, Saber is the future. They're like down in Florida presenting this weird thing that was made by the company that bought.
Yeah,
Dunder
it's hard to
Mifflin.
follow.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's very not good.
Even though the whole Florida Tallahassee thing was like just a few episodes of
It
season
felt
9,
longer.
it felt like too big for the
Yeah.
show.
But yeah, any other TV shows? Alex and Matthew, you guys got anything? Because you guys haven't. I feel bad.
No. Honestly, I don't watch
A lot of TV.
a lot of TV.
Okay, one
I mean, I
show.
watch TV, but I don't get like as you guys.
Well, can we all just go around and say like what is like your favorite TV show on that is currently running right now? Do you guys have that?
Currently running?
Currently running, not.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They have their
I
13th
can't
season.
I've been
coming
trying
up.
to watch that show. Like
I don't
everyone
really-
tells me to watch it. I just
It
haven't
takes
gotten into it yet.
takes a little bit of time because you kind of have to learn not exactly the character development, but the personalities of the characters. Find out who's who would do what kind of stuff, and you'll be like, "Nah, I find this funny."
Yeah.
Because at first, It's Always Sunny in
and-
Philadelphia is an insanely vulgar, offensive show.
Yeah, and I love it.
And that's why I like it. I don't get offended by the things that they say, but a lot of people these days would.
Yeah.
But somehow they're still doing it. They're somehow able to make it, and that's what I like about It's Always
Yeah,
Sunny in
one
Philadelphia.
show
It's
that
not
like it's not on anymore, and it kind of is an old person's show. Boston Legal.
I've never watched it.
So
Have you never seen Boston? Have you guys
No,
never
it's
seen
fair,
Boston Legal?
You've talked
That's
about
true,
it
they are
before.
really
You've
He
shown
probably
me
watches
clips.
it with his
I do not know very much about it.
Boston Legal. It's like it's a comedy, but I feel like it's so well written, and there's not a single bad episode of it. It ran for like 4 or 5 seasons, but it breaks the fourth wall in such a beautiful way. Sometimes it's like
They break the fourth wall.
yeah, they break the fourth wall. It's a comedy, but it's like a dramedy. It's like a dramedy about
heard
like
that.
lawyers. It's a drama comedy about like lawyers, right? And in Boston, Boston
like
Legal.
that.
Lawyer. Shut up. Okay, I'm from.
It actually sounds really
lawyer.
interesting.
I'm from
Like,
Texas.
When was
But-
it made? Do you know?
It was like early 2000s.
Oh, so it's not like that.
Yeah,
old.
no. It's like
The Office,
it's like
the Office is
2004.
from early 2000s.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
it started in 2000.
Yeah, but it's like they break the fourth wall in it. Like every once in a while, they'll say like towards the end of it, once their show got canceled, they started like really breaking it like really often. Like there was a court case about like 50-year-olds watching like TV shows or something like that, and they're like, oh, just about the only good show for old people on now is Butt, and they're like, no, we can't say that, can't break that wall or something like that. It really is a wonderful show.
So they just like they give up at the end, but like in a good way
for the case or
for like the show. Like you said, like they thought they were canceled or whatever.
they did get canceled.
So
but
yeah, but they knew
Why
they were
they
gonna
get canceled?
I'm not sure. I'm
Because
not
not
sure.
enough people were watching.
Yeah, probably. It's just like I feel like also like the humor can be like on another level sometimes. They like it's very political too sometimes. Like I don't know, and it's funny because like a lot of the like cases that they worked on are so like obviously it's not really early 2000s. It's more like mid to late 2000s because they throw out like a lot of like Obama like jokes,
yeah.
a lot like Hillary jokes, stuff like that. So it's like it hasn't aged well in that sense, but it's still I don't know.
When did Obama become president?
2008.
Yeah,
Huh.
Well,
That's what I was thinking.
2009.
I know. I thought you were gonna do that.
No. Yeah. 2009.
All right.
So
That's all I wanted to
You
know.
got a TV show to mention?
Because I remember
Specifically,
really
like
choose.
when he was
Uh-huh.
running up against that.
Well,
one
yeah, I
guy.
feel like we can all talk about
Joe
multiple
McCain.
ones too if you can't remember.
Game,
these, but
Game of Thrones is awesome. I don't want to say anything really more than that, but
you watch Game of
a lot
Thrones?
of people watch Game of Thrones. So I don't want to say a lot, but
Game of
I
Thrones.
have
has
watched like the first season. That's it.
nude scenes in it.
We
Really?
can't talk about it.
It's like porn with a little bit of plot.
I mean, it's on HBO. It's not
It's
porn. It's not.
Porn pertaining.
It has a
plot.
lot of.
I love how HBO and like Stars and like those like premium like show channels like they hook you with the titties and they keep you for the plot. Like seriously, like I feel like
It has a good. It's
Oh my
nice.
goodness.
Yeah.
And the
No, I was just
the last season starts
running
in
it in
April.
my head.
yeah.
We have a clock right there, by the way. That's how I've been keeping track.
Yeah, I think we started at 7:50 or so.
Yeah, something like that. 7:55.
So, yeah, enough about Game of Thrones. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Garfield, you beautiful bastard! Are you watching like the current season right now?
Yeah, of course.
It is actually so good so far, and I was worried because they switched networks.
Yeah,
They switched networks, and my history with like switching stuff is Community, where they switched show creators, and then they switched back, and it still wasn't the same. And so this show, I was like, it's gonna be another case where I'm gonna come into this season super hyped because it ended super well, and they're coming back, and now it's gonna be atrocious, just like Community.
Real quick.
And it's actually there's only been 2 episodes, so it's hard to tell really, but there's been 2 episodes, and they've actually still been really good.
Well, that's one it's one of those things where it's like I've been meaning to watch
Yeah,
it, but
that's
I
me.
never really
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really good show. I would suggest watching it. It's I can't even say like there's bad
How many
parts. It's
seasons?
they're on their 6th right now.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, me and Shelby went through it. My grandma Shelby. We went
There's
through
like
it.
20 episodes.
We went through it in like a week because we were like so in love with it. Another show on NBC going right now is The Good Place. I know I've talked to Matthew about
Yeah.
this.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah, it
always
comes on
first
every time
started.
after. I have
For
been
some reason,
thinking
I
about
always
watching
like
it.
in my head whenever I think of them like The Good Place, I always automatically associate the content with like The Good Wife and The Good Doctor.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm like, this is gonna be really boring. But I've only heard good things.
It's so good.
What's the premise?
Matthew, can you explain your argument for the show why you didn't end up staying on for more than like an episode? If you remember,
What's
because I
the
remember.
premise?
But
I haven't watched it in like
because that was in
2
like
years.
Yeah, that was
3
senior
years?
year for
No,
me. So that
oh
was
yeah,
like
yeah,
your
it was your junior year. Yeah.
So
2 years.
But yeah, like so it's basically heaven and hell. I'm only gonna explain because this show, every season is such a completely different show when you look back on it. So I'll only explain the first because I don't want to give any spoilers because it is so good when you finally get there. But the first season is so this lady is in heaven and they call it the good place and the bad place, which I enjoy. That was the reason you didn't like it. You were like, pick something. You're like, make it heaven and hell, make it anything else. Why you have to pick such a generic good place, bad place?
Yeah.
This is gonna let everyone be included or whatever. And I can get that, but to me they did it in such a way where they're like, oh, there's this point system. To me, it's like they didn't make something to please everyone. They just made their own religion, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this girl, Eleanor Shellstrop. She's played by Kristen Bell, I think her name is. But she gets into the good place, and like they give her the whole spiel, and then like she meets like you have a soulmate. You have someone you live with. This is your soulmate. This is the person that like you were meant to be with, but you could never be with because you were on like opposite ends.
For
of
some
the-
reason, I'm imagining Aziz Ansari.
It's a black guy. So like he obviously Aziz Ansari isn't black, but, you know, he's
Close
colorful.
enough.
I was just gonna say.
Close enough.
But
Basically black.
she ends up telling him like, I definitely don't belong here. Like there was a mistake. I should be in the bad place. And they give you like lots of little clips of her in like on
Like
Earth.
murdering people.
Not murdering people. She wasn't that bad, but she like got her friend really drunk and then like took like a really like embarrassing picture of it and then sold like pictures of her. I don't know. It makes more sense if you actually watch the show.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not telling the jokes very well, or like she like there was a guy that would be like, hey, save the environment, and she would like he would hand her like a flyer and she'd like crumple it up and throw it right next to a trash can. So like she would do stuff like that, you know. She was just an all around
savage.
yeah, like an all around bad person. And so the whole show in general, without giving anything away, is her becoming a better person.
Okay, so that's her point.
So yeah, like the whole show is kind of this whole journey of I need to be better than what I was. And so her soulmate ends up being like a philosophy expert. So he like gives her like classes of like famous philosophers and stuff. So I actually feel smarter when I watch the show because they like teach you in a weird way.
Yeah.
We talked about the trolley incident on our first episode. That is like where I really learned that from. Like I knew it beforehand, but that is where like that's where I learned like everything I really know about that from. It's a really good show, and yeah, like I said, I wish I could spoil it right now for all of you, but I really want you to watch it and enjoy it.
How many seasons?
I think I'll watch it.
Huh?
I'll watch it.
I want to watch it. So
I'll watch it.
you should. I think it's either on its third or fourth right now.
Okay. No.
It's almost. I think it's almost at the end of its third. That's right, but it's already renewed for a fourth. So it's a show that you know isn't going to get like canceled or anything right away. But yeah, it is super good. That is like the one show every week that I am the most excited for because I know that I like consequences in shows and movies and TV, video games, whatever. I like real consequences.
Yeah.
I don't like this whole like when to go back to The Office for a second. I'm sorry, but when like Jim left for Stanford, you know, he's back in like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And like in the very next episode, he meets up with Michael or something.
Yeah.
And it's like
it doesn't feel real.
It doesn't really matter. You're just introducing all these new characters. Jim moving was just a way to get new characters. It wasn't a plot. It wasn't like a thing for
Andy, Karen.
It wasn't like a thing for Jim to go through. It was a thing for Jim to meet new
Yeah.
people. And to me, when there's a consequence, the movie Looper, the end of that is a huge consequence. It happens at the very end of the movie, but it is something that really like it always stuck with me. Like what happened.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to spoil it as well because it's also I hate spoiling good spoilers.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
So yeah, like I think consequences in media in general are the best thing to have.
Yeah.
And when that's my biggest complaint of The Office, and that's why I loved season 2 so much because I felt like consequences were really a thing.
That's true.
But with the rest of the show, it just felt like they're using these different just plot devices to just be jokes or whatever. It wasn't really to change the characters. Jen is the same in season 3 as he is in season 9. He has different things going on in his life, but he's the same person.
Very static. Yeah.
Where you watch The Good Place, and you see Eleanor in episode 1, and then you see her in the most current episode, and she is 100% a different person.
Yeah. But
so you're talking about character development?
Character development, but that happens because of consequences.
Yeah, to be fair though, I think that one of the things that's kind of endearing about The Office is there's like no character development.
That's
like,
true.
Characters develop, but they don't really change. They're all static. Like they can all be characterized. Like Jim is the fun, kind of realistic prankster, right? And I mean Oscar is the gay. He's the
smart gay guy.
The smart political gay guy, right? Like it's because and they don't change throughout the show. Like Angela, she's kind of always a bitch. I mean,
a prime example of there being no character development in The Office is Kelly and Ryan.
There you go.
Yeah.
When they first get in the show together, they're both like ooh all over each other, and they're like they go back and forth throughout the show like crazy. Like Kelly gets with Daryl. Ryan tries to go for Aaron, and he tries to go for Pam at one point when he's like the CEO or something like that. And literally in the last episode,
they're back.
Their last scene, running off into the sunset together.
I like that though. Like that was one thing I enjoyed. But like to me, I don't know.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just it's
it
evidence
definitely
that
shows
there's not that much
change.
character development in the show. And I'm sure, I don't know, but if there were like an intense amount of character development in the show, I don't know if I would have liked it as much.
Yeah, because I think it is kind of, I don't know, you can kind of pick it up at any point.
That's true.
And it's the same.
You'll know who the people are.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they were funny
Is this
earlier
good
in the
Jim?
show.
Is this bad Jim?
Yeah.
I just feel like I feel like comedy in that sense never has that kind of character development.
I think it can.
To me,
does
comedy
character development really
can.
happen in Parks and Rec?
I don't.
It does not happen in.
It does in Ron and Leslie. I think it happens in that specific episode.
Yeah, but I feel like that development. It's like it was just you were just thrown into it, right? Because like they're just not friends, right? In the
not
sense
that sense. The sense of
I
can't explain it without spoiling it.
Yeah.
I think April. I think
April.
April did make a
She-
change.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say there's and you know
April
what?
made-
Chris,
yeah.
The Good Place,
Chris made
Parks and
like-
Recreation, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think all have character development, and they were all made by Michael Schur.
Really?
Oh.
Yep. So I think I that's one thing I've always thought about. Like I want character development in my comedies too. I don't need these characters to just be going around these wacky things. I want them to still be realistic. That's what makes things good is when it makes things bad, but it also makes things good when they're so realistic in this like you need that element of craziness, but that element of these are still people, they change.
Yeah.
Everyone's changed. From the times that we have all met, we're all completely different people. I don't smack burritos out of your hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
all
I remember that very well.
You don't ignore me when I talk to you in a really nice and friendly way.
That's true. Garfield's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know if Matthew hasn't really changed that. Well, I feel like he has in different ways.
Yeah. But yeah, like so
Well, I mean,
I
I,
feel like
haven't
you're-
changed.
No, yeah, you've changed.
I feel like I've changed. Like,
I
Cut
feel
my
like you-
hair.
I
You're-
feel
I
like
feel
you
like
do.
you're okay.
you
One
got
other
your
thing.
personality. But
One
you're
thing I did kind of
a
want to talk about
person, you know?
Into the Spider-Verse. I saw it.
Ooh,
I
good.
saw it.
Good.
It's very good.
movie.
That is a good movie. I
Yeah.
understand why everyone's saying it was their favorite.
That
movie
was
of
such a
2018.
good movie.
Honestly, like
It's
I remember
we're not
seeing
gonna
the
talk about
trailer.
spoilers. This
I
is
remember
a spoiler free.
I remember seeing the trailer for it when the trailer first was released, and I was like, this is some really good, like, not necessarily game changing, but it was like amazing animation, right? And then I watched it and just it was perfect.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I loved how like they had a lower frame rate, that like the voices weren't synced up with the mouths, so it kind of looked more like it felt more comic booky, but also like in a good way. It felt like it was kind of like stop motion too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely. I'm pretty sure I've on this podcast, but Phil Lord and Chris Miller can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Like they're literally perfect. I feel like I've been cursing all over the place. I feel really bad.
Did
That's
you just
fine.
curse?
I think
Yeah,
you're
he
fine.
said-
I'd suck
I'm
at
gonna watch this whole thing, and I'm gonna have to
That makes
mark
no
down
sense.
times.
Pretty much. Just listen.
I just know that about 10 minutes in, you went on a serious cursing rant.
yeah, just curse, just
Yeah.
bleep that out. I feel like a few, here up there, it's not that big of a
There's
It's
more.
a big deal for him. He has that in it.
friendly.
My parents watched this. Well, I don't know.
They didn't watch this.
They did. They only watched like 10 minutes of the first one. Shame on you people.
I
You
feel-
know what? They may never even see this.
I feel like we
I
have.
can curse all I want. I'm not going to.
I
though.
feel like I feel like we need to make like the first couple of minutes the most engaging.
Which I think we did.
Yeah.
My
remember
my
what we
song
said.
was pretty legit.
I don't remember.
That
what we
was
said.
a legit song.
Yeah.
I am gonna listen to that.
Yeah,
Okay, should
That
we start
was
wrapping it
Speaking
up?
of how
Did
are
you think of that, or was that improv?
that was just 100% improv.
Speaking of how are you doing on editing
That's
the
what
last one?
That's what
The
I'm
last
on.
one, I figured out how to do keyframing. Bam. I just did one.
Don't keyframe it. Just
I'm gonna keyframe that
Keyframe
part,
this.
or else this is stupid, or else that
Exactly.
was a really dumb thing I just did.
yeah, but
Evan, you're gonna look stupid. now.
exactly. You're not gonna
I'm not gonna
keyframe
keyframe you.
Why would you set yourself up for that?
What can I say?
Don't worry, I'll keyframe you.
Oh, thank you.
It's so nice.
Okay, should we start
I'm
wrapping
not gonna
this,
put myself out there.
this up?
I feel like
He's getting keyframe.
I guess we've been going for an hour, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
That's about that
hitting
time.
about a little over an hour. Thank
Well,
you.
we're running out of time.
This one was more about TV shows.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very TV heavy. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
I
The
feel
no,
like
last,
I was
the
the
last
reason.
one was all about movies. I think it's better. I hope this isn't what it is when we just let ourselves talk, as we end up talking about films
Mhm.
or TV shows.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe next time we should come in hoping for something that we could all.
Yeah.
Maybe I could talk about less, like video games. Like if you guys all want to bring in something about that.
But I feel like
I can talk.
less
Because
specific.
I know you could definitely talk
Oh,
about
I could
that.
talk
I feel like Gaffel could really talk about that. So I
If
feel
you
like.
guys- if you guys-
Uh-oh.
Weeks.
I can talk
Spell-
about
A special
break?
session for Matthew.
Yeah, so I feel bad
It's
that
just Matthew sitting.
Matthew.
just me talking about how much I love One Shot.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I don't even know what that is.
it's
like.
good.
Yeah,
It's an
so I
indie
think
play.
Oh, it's
If-
indie.
maybe we come
Yeah.
in with that
That's
next
good.
time because we
Yeah.
all. I mean, I still play video games, just not as much as any of
Alrighty.
you guys. I feel like. So.
No.
Do we need an
I don't
outro
know.
song?
I
An
feel
outro
like
song?
we should.
Yeah.
It won't be as good because that was
do it.
just lightning. in a
Sorry,
bottle.
Chief didn't have much to say. He's in a little bit of a
We should
rant
have talked
here.
about music. I had a good intro.
Oh,
I'm wearing
man.
a shirt with one of my favorite albums.
Well, maybe we'll go video games and then music.
Cool.
It's fine.
We'll get through all the media topics.
Should we do some?
No,
should
that's
we throw
fine.
some
I
acapella
just-
in there?
Throw some acapella.
And at least you were prepared for it. You know,
I just assumed we were like
you were ready for
and all
him
this
to-
stuff.
for him to go.
Yeah.
Should
Next time we'll be shooting
then
would
here.
have to be like next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday? So a week from
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. That's the earliest I'll be back is Monday.
I feel like we should
Okay.
do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just because I feel like we should be talking about this off of the podcast. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
let's do that. Okay.
Well, let's-
do you
let's
guys
do
want to
this.
throw some acapella in there?
we can try.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday? I'm confused.
Don't. We'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah.
We don't want to waste our viewers' time.
No, that's not good.
Listen, wait here.
Let me get a,
Is
let me get a
it,
different
what's it
voice in
on
here.
right now?
Alex.
Evan.
That's
Oh.
the order. What happened?
I think that's a good outro.
It'll just end
next
there.
week.
Okay, that's the end.
Yeah, that
That's
was
the end.
This has been Amped episode 3.
Episode
Good
3, we talked about stuff.
No, you don't even have to talk
Good
anymore.
night.
I'm just gonna cut it out right there. That's usually how I end these. Is